Welcome to our YouTube channel, The Instructor. We are going to look at how you can pass your practical exam following the guidance or following the instructions, mostly the procedures you follow in order to pass your practical. First of all, you have to prepare. You prepare yourself. You prepare yourself. That is, you have to put on your full PPE, your personal protective equipment, such as safety shoes, you have head helmet, you have overall, stroke reflector or overcoat. You have to come prepared. You have to put on your PPE. You come when you are fully prepared to do the exam. So when the examiner sees you well prepared with your PPE, those are almost free marks because you have to be prepared. Secondly, you will make sure your workplace, your workshop, or where you are going to do the practical is clean. Clean area. You have to make sure where you are going to do your work, the area is clean. You need to have the necessary tools. Necessary tools. The tools you are going to use. You can have pliers. Here you have screwdriver. Frato minus, frato star. You have to have a multimeter. You need to have a face tester, clipping hammer for clipping clips, among others. So you have to come with your necessary tools. You put them on your work table. You prepare for the next instructions to start your work. You prepare yourself with your tools when you are well dressed in your safety, and then you wait for instructions, or they will have given you the instruction to follow. After reading your instructions, the equipments, they are on the table, or the materials, equipments and materials you are going to use will be provided by the examiner, or you will find them arranged on the table. Then the next scene, you start answering the question. Most of the time, the first question is about drawing the circuit. The circuit you are going to wire, you draw the circuit, whether power circuit or control circuit, and sometimes a block diagram. So make sure you draw a neat diagram, whether it is a circuit, power circuit or control circuit, a block diagram, or both, or the three. Make sure you draw a well-labeled diagram. Draw a well-labeled circuit diagram or block diagram. You make sure it is well labeled. Where you have used the symbols, you can identify them, you can put a key and you identify the symbols. But mostly we have standard symbols, so even if you use a symbol, but you have to label whatever you have drawn. You make sure whatever device or equipment which is indicated on the circuit is well labeled. Then after that, the next step, most of the time, you go to do the actual work, to do the wiring. So you are going to fix the equipment, to fix the devices or components which you are provided with on your wiring boards. You are provided with wiring boards. So the next step, you are planning layout, because you might be given a question and you asked maybe to space, like you are planning the spacing of the components. So most of the time they say maybe 300 millimeters between components or 400, whatever they give you. Now here you plan the layout, you take measurements, you measure, then you start fixing. After planning, you start fixing components. Maybe you are given switches, you want to fix molded box, or MK boxes, you want to fix contactors, you want to fix relays, or timers, or main switch, consumer unit, or socket outlets, MKs. So after planning your layout, you start fixing them, the junction boxes, whatever you are provided with. After fixing them, then you start laying cables. You start laying cables from one component to another. Maybe, for example, you are wiring a main switch with sockets and the junction boxes and the switches. So now you start laying the cables from the main switch to the junction box, from junction box to ramp holders and the MKs or molded boxes, like that. Then after laying, you clip. You are laying as you are clipping. You clip while you maintain equal spacing. You make sure your spacing of your clips is equal and smart. Then after that, you go to connections. Now you are terminating. If you are wiring, like you are wiring switches controlling certain ramps, now you start terminating the junction box. After you terminate the main switch, you connect switches, you connect sockets and all other items you are given. Maybe you are wiring a control circuit for motors, you start terminating the MCBs and also contactors and whatever you are given, you start terminating them and fixing them. Make sure your connections are firm, there is no loose connections and there is no bare wires left out. Make sure you strip the required lengths of the cable, terminate. you strip it, you terminate it properly so that there is no part of the wire which is left naked, which can easily cause a short circuit in case it gets contact with another naked wire. So make sure your connections are firm and sound to minimize loose connections, which may cause overheating of cables and may cause fire. After you have wired, now the next step is testing. Before testing, make sure first cross-check. You cross-check your wiring to make sure what you have wired is correct. If you are wiring switches, you make sure the polarity is correct. Then you check for short circuit using your multimeter. You cross-check if there is short circuit. If it is not there, then now you can go to testing. Some questions, like if you are installing switches and sockets, some questions require you to test for polarity. And remember, polarity, you are making sure that all single pole switches are connected on the live conductor, the live part. If it is a switch, the common part, where you have your switch, where it is labeled the common and the live, make sure that the live, the switch feed is connected to the common terminal. Then there you can start testing depending on the questions or the question they have asked you. Whether you are testing polarity test, you are testing ring circuit continuity, or you are testing resistance, whatever you are testing, you start testing, but you make sure you follow safety procedures. You safely turn on the power after you have cross-checked and tested that there is no short circuit. You safely turn on the power from the main switch. You follow your circuit as you turn on the power. So the testing instruments we have said, you can use a multimeter, you can use phase tester. See if there is presence of power, or you can use it also test the polarity. You check whether your switch feed is connected on the common. Then from there, after testing, now you can safely disconnect. Can safely disconnect power. After disconnecting power supply, you start disconnecting. Disconnecting your components. After disconnecting, you arrange them and you take them back to store. Take them back to store for storage. Then you clean your workplace. Where you have worked from in your workshop, you clean your workshop or your workplace. Then you call it the end of the paper. So in the summary, you have to come when you are going to do your practical, make sure you have put on all your full PPE, especially the head helmet, reflector or overall or overcoat, and safety shoes. Make sure you have your tools, and in your tools don't miss a multimeter, because you are going to have some tests, especially short circuit test. Before testing your circuit, you have make sure your circuit doesn't have a short circuit. Then that is one of the tools. You have make sure you have all your tools, the hammer, and when you are using your tools, use them properly. Don't start clipping and you are using a plier to hit the tower clips. You have to use a clipping hammer. Use the right tool for the right job. Don't just mix, and where you want to use a hammer, you are using a plier to hit nails. After reaching your workshop or your examination room, most of the time you will find the materials there on your table. So make sure you read the questions and you understand. Before starting anything, you read the questions and understand. Sometimes, for example, like in motors, you may have learned using a circuit of a 3-phase and they are asking single phase. So make sure you read the question and understand. If it is a single phase, you draw a single phase. If it is a 3-phase, you draw a 3-phase. If they are giving you rod as a bulb, put a bulb, not a motor. Then the next step, after reading your question, you will see what they require you to do. Whether you have to first draw a block diagram, or a power diagram, circuit diagram, or a control circuit diagram. You draw your diagram, make sure it is well labeled, whether it is a block diagram, whether it is a power circuit or a control circuit, make sure it is well labeled. And your blocks should have similar dimensions. If we are using a square, let them be square throughout. If you are using rectangle, let them be rectangle throughout of the same dimension. Don't make a socket a bigger one, then a switch a smaller one, then you make a main switch a square, another one is a rectangle. At least try to make equal dimensions of similar blocks. Then from there, you go to your wiring board, you start fixing the components. You take measurements, you plan how you are going to lay your circuit. You start fixing, you take measurements, you start fixing your components, and you start wiring, joining the components. After you start terminating, you do connections. Make sure your connections are firm, there is no loose connection. Make sure there is no naked wire left out. Make sure you tighten all your screws properly, and make sure if there are switches, they are on a level. Don't put an MK molded box which is at an angle. You have to make sure that the top is on the level and the side is vertical at 90. So the next step, you are going to do the testing. At least first do the short circuit test. Make sure your circuit has no short circuit. As you follow the question, you will be guided, or the question will guide you on which tests you are supposed to do. Do all the tests. You connected the circuit to power safely. Don't just touch anyhow. You connect your circuit safely and turn on components one by one in a sequential way. After testing, now you are free to do the disconnection. You also disconnect power safely. Then after disconnecting, you dismantle your work, you arrange your materials, you take them back to store, you clean your workplace. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment and share the link. Always comment on whatever I give you, so that I get to know whether you have got it properly, where you should improve. If you have questions, you ask in the comment, but please give comments, like, subscribe, and share the link with your fellow students from different institutions, so that we can develop this channel for a better skilling Uganda. Thank you. Shall meet in another video.